Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Psychically Speaking. If you're a regular listener, thank you for being such an important part of this journey with me. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm so glad you found your way here. This is the podcast where intuition meets real life truth with just the right dash of sass. I'm your host, Lisa Ann. Together, we'll explore, learn, and grow through meaningful moments and fresh perspectives. Today's episode is all about something that has been coming up for so many of my clients and in my own life too. And that is the power of micro shifts. We're talking tiny, soul-aligned moves that create big, energetic ripple effects. If you've been feeling overwhelmed, stuck, or like you need to completely reinvent your life just to feel better, take a breath because this episode is for you. So let's release the pressure and explore how the smallest shifts can realign your path in the most beautiful, intuitive ways. We live in a culture that loves the idea of overnight transformations. Just quit your job, move to Bali, start a candle business, or you've got to change everything, your mindset, your routine, your friends, your diet by next Tuesday. But real growth, lasting, soulful change, it rarely looks like a fireworks show. It's the soft, consistent whisper that says, try this instead. Micro shifts are small, conscious choices made with big, energetic intentions. They're the moment that you decide to drink water before your coffee, or set a 2-minute timer to breathe before an important meeting, or maybe say no when your people pleaser wants to say yes. Or how about leaving your phone in the other room so you can actually take some time to process, feel your emotions? Or making a commitment to pull a card or light a candle or take a pause before reacting. These aren't life overhauls, they're simply soul nudges. And when honored consistently, they move mountains. Energetically, micro shifts speak directly to your subconscious and your spiritual team. They signal, I'm ready to shift. I'm open to ease. I'm showing up with love. Because what we're doing in those moments is rewriting old patterns, but we're doing it gently. We're not bulldozing our way through healing. We're allowing healing to meet us in the now. Let me share something from my own life. I am definitely a very reactive person. So I definitely have to focus on reining myself in on a daily basis. And I want to share a story that I heard years ago that led to me coming up with what I now refer to as my 24-hour rule. So my 24-hour rule is something that I have done for years. And it doesn't matter if it's something very upsetting that happened, or something that makes me very angry, or something that's unfair, or maybe I get a crazy email for some religious psychopath that's telling me I'm going to burn in hell, which those I don't honestly respond to at all, just FYI. But what I used to do was feed into the moment, right? Like, these things come in as an interruption in your day. And instead, I learned to kind of hit that pause button and go, you know what? I'm not going to react to this for 24 hours. And here's where I got that 24-hour rule. And I'm just going to apologize now because I already know I'm going to mutilate the story because this is the way that I remember it. But if you've heard it, you might have heard it differently. So I apologize for just killing the story. But years ago, someone told me this story about this guy that was at work with his boss, and they were like in construction or something. And all day long, it was like one crisis after another, and the truck broke down, and this happened, and clients were screaming, and supplies didn't arrive. And the worker just said it was like the worst day ever. And on the way home, the boss said, why don't you come in? I guess the worker's truck was at his house or something. And the boss said, hey, why don't you come in for dinner? It's been such a horrible day. Why don't we just, take a moment to just share a meal? So as they go to walk in the house, the boss just kind of paused at the door for a moment, took a breath, walked in. The wife and kids, his family, greeted him at the door. And the wife said, how was your day? And he said, oh, the day was great. Went in, had dinner. So the next morning, the worker is back with the boss, and he says, I have to ask you something. He said, we had the absolute worst day yesterday. Everything and anything that could have possibly went wrong happened. But yet, when you walked in the door yesterday for dinner, your wife said, how was your day? And you said your day was great. And you just acted as if nothing happened. I don't understand, the worker said. And the boss looked at him and he said, oh, did you see that little tree that was outside by the front door? And the worker said, yeah. He goes, well, every day when I come home before I walk in the house, I just hang all my worries and problems on that tree. He goes, and the weird thing is, they're never really there when I leave the next morning. And I have remembered, probably not correctly, that story my entire life. And that is where my 24-hour rule came from. Because the point of the story is the things that seem so big and overwhelming in the moment, when you take time to step away from them, when you take time to get a good night's sleep, when you take time to allow your subconscious to kind of work through it, it's never as horrific as it seemed in the moment that it was happening. So that is where my 24-hour rule came from. So this was a tiny little micro shift that I made, right? Something happens, don't react, don't respond. Think about it for 24 hours. So the truth is that these tiny shifts create this momentum and confidence for even bigger ones when the time is right. So this week, I invite you to choose one micro shift a day. That's it. Just one soul aligned move that says, I matter, my energy matters. So maybe it's something as simple as saying a mantra when you brush your teeth, or picking one meal to eat without any distractions, no phones, no television, or maybe doing 3 minutes of energy clearing or healing work before going to bed. Or maybe catching your inner critic and reframing it with kindness. Remember, you don't have to fix it all. You just have to move the dial towards alignment. Remember, it's not always the grand rituals that transform us. It's the daily sacred whispers. If you've been wanting a sign, if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. You don't need to blow it all up. You just need to begin. One breath, one choice, one shift at a time. Thank you for joining me today on Psychically Speaking. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it if you could leave a review and maybe share it with someone who could use a little inspiration. And remember, even your smallest steps can shift your entire path. Until next time, take care of yourself, embrace your light, trust your intuition, and keep growing.